There's a song on Caleb I was listening to on the way out the door this morning, and man, even you cannot trust even Caleb for sound doctrinal music. And I may be completely off task. I mean, there's been songs in the past I thought I heard one thing, but I had to listen to it more carefully. Like the one about your truth, which is not talking to God. So yeah, His truth is truth. That song irritated me for a long time because I keep hearing people saying my truth, your truth. Ugh. Nothing can be more annoying than that. Well, few things can be more annoying than that. But then this song, what I caught of it, something about I'm storming the gates of hell, which I'm like, okay, so there's a lot of things wrong with that to begin with. It's just the context. I know you're like, well, but that's in the Bible. Yeah, but whenever some people say it and they take it out of context and they're like, yeah, that's not the part that bothered me. I think that's just one of the lyrics that's over and over again. But the other one is, I'm calling down angels and these other words. At one point in my life, I was getting into the Word of Faith movement, and a lot of the doctrines sounded solid at the time. I was sitting there going, well, He did say greater things we will do because He goes to the Father. That's what it says in, I think, John. And there's a lot of things that sound logical about it, but then when you look at the underlying cause of why the Word of Faith movement is so dangerous, is that we're taking the authority out of the hands of God, and we're out there calling down this and calling down that and doing this. And it's like, what if it is God's will that it rains? I remember one time I was with, this is a long time ago. I don't think this woman's evil at all. I think she's a wonderful lady. But I was at Emerald Point Water Park with a friend, Andrew, and he was just shocked and amazed at how this woman took authority over the rain and stuff like that. And she just called out to the rain, like, you will not ruin our day in Jesus' name. And she was just, kind of yelling at the clouds, but, in Jesus' name. And, I was like, that was the time I was into it. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty awesome that we can take authority over that stuff. And I think now in retrospect, I'm going, well, what if it was God's will that it's not going to ruin our day? And just because it rains doesn't mean it's bad for us to have, to learn to deal with it. I think a lot of times we try to take things out of God's hand. Instead of praying that there's no rain or saying, rain, go back, because I live at the beach and I don't want to see rainy days or hot days or anything like that. But instead of yelling at the sun, going, stop being so evil, stop hurting me, stop making it so hot, maybe I can be thankful, God, thank you for my body's ability to still adapt to it. And I pray for those who can't anymore adapt to it, like the older people that can't even sweat anymore. And just be thankful that God has given us the ability to deal with it, and pray for those who can't, and be mindful of them. And instead of trying to take authority over that sun, which we need that sun, I don't particularly like it is not being shielded behind a canopy of water, but instead of trying to take authority over something that's natural, we need to take authority over ourselves. And I think that's what God was talking about. I think God was saying that we need to take authority over our own selves, instead of me saying, oh, I hate that sun and curse the sun and blah, 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 blah. No, I think I need to take authority of myself and my whining and my complaining and my behavior, my attitude. And what if I was at the water park and it did rain, and this youth group that I was with, I go to the water park every day. When I was a kid, I had seasonal passes to Emerald Point. So what if the youth group, that was their only day to go? They can learn to, oh, what if it does rain? Oh, boo-hoo, it's the end of the world. It's a testing and experience, and I wish I would have had the, I was just a kid, so I wish I had the understanding back then to understand how to say, well, you're right, it is something different, and, that doesn't mean that we're God or we're Jesus and we can do all this. And I know a lot of times that a lot of the Word of Faith says, well, Peter would have had more faith if he could walk on water. He was walking to Jesus. He had to put his trust in Jesus. It wasn't about walking on water or doing miracles. It was about putting your faith in Jesus. It's about looking toward Jesus. It's about, if Jesus is scolding him for not having enough faith, why do I not see any faith believers out here walking on the water out here? If the Word of Faith people really want to put their money where their mouth is, I want to see them out here surfing without a board. I want to see the who needs a board when your eyes are on the Lord? I want to see those kind of people out here surfing on the water without a surfboard. And I'm not being one of these people that's like, well, if faith healing's real, then why don't they go clear out hospitals? I've heard that argument from both sides of my life. And no, there is, Jesus does still heal. I told you about my friend Larry getting healed, but I didn't go out there and say, oh, you better pray. You know, we just prayed to God, it's your will healing. I didn't say, you better bow to the will of God. Sickness, I rebuke you. We didn't do any of that. It's like, hey, look, there's reasons why we go through things in our life, and sometimes it's not all about us. So that song just kind of ticked me off a little bit. It's like, now I got to go and research it, because it's not like I can stop it. And just, you know, here's the thing also. I'm talking about how I'm not praying that, you know, they go out of business or Caleb stops playing that song, or, well, I kind of am praying that, but I don't know. I mean, I'm praying that my behavior doesn't get affected by it. But it's a learning experience, because there are still people out there, and there's a lot of them. There's a lot of people in the Word of Faith movement, and there's people that are Christians in that, so pray for them to get out of that, because it is a dangerous, I don't want to say cult. You can totally be saved and be in the Word of Faith. It's just that you're being deceived at the same time. And sometimes you're being deceived by people who honestly believe it. And then there are charlatans. I truly believe that the church I went to, every time I would talk to the pastor, I was like, my gosh, he preaches good, but then he's got such a weird behavior. He won't talk to people like a normal pastor will talk to you. He's always like too busy to talk to anybody. He's always surrounded by his, I guess, like his disciples or his inner circle. I always thought it was just really strange. Like, his ability on stage to deliver a message was phenomenal, but his ability to talk to you one-on-one was non-existent. Like if you try to talk to him, he was like never had time for you. And, you know, maybe it's just he's an introvert or something. I don't know. I'm an introvert technically, I guess. But at the same time, I just think it's just so weird. And I don't know. I feel like he was more, I don't want to sit here and judge the man. I'm just saying that I never felt like 2 + 2 = 4 with that guy, if you know what I mean. So anyway, the bottom line, I just wanted to get on here and just talk really quickly. I definitely don't want to monetize these videos. I'm trying to make sure it doesn't monetize if I can. That's why I'm trying to keep them under 8 minutes now. So I just wanted to tell you that be careful what you listen to, and also, I think I made my point. I'll do a different video about a different subject.